Current chapter rosters are maintained by the university and used to determine who will be included on the organization's grade report each semester. In order to ensure the university has your chapter's current information and membership on record, you will utilize three forms. These three forms can all be accessed through the university's online involvement platform, Engage, and include the active member roster submission, the new member roster submission, and the roster update form. The active member roster submission should be submitted once at the beginning of each semester. The deadline to submit this form will always be the first Friday at the start of the semester. The new member roster submission should be submitted immediately following the organization's recruitment or intake process. Chapters conducting intake are required to submit the new member roster at the beginning of the aspirant's new member process. To ensure confidentiality, this information will only be accessible to the Director of Student Involvement and Leadership, the Assistant Director for Fraternity and Sorority Programs, as well as the Coordinator for Fraternity and Sorority Programs. The last form, which is the roster update form, should be used throughout the semester to notify fraternity and sorority life of any changes to your membership. This form will be used to ensure any changes are reflected on your chapter's grade report each semester. But the last day to submit a roster update form and have those changes reflected on your chapter roster and then the chapter grade report will be the last day of classes each semester. Any changes that occur after that time should still be submitted using the roster update form, but those changes will not be reflected on the chapter's grade report for that semester. All three of these forms are available on the Fraternity and Sorority Programs page on Engage. To access those forms and the page, simply type Fraternity and Sorority Programs into the Explore bar on the Engage homepage. Select UAB Fraternity and Sorority Programs. And to access the forms themselves, you're just going to scroll down to the Forms section and navigate to the form you want to submit. As an example, you would select the form, then go to New Submission to begin the actual form process. Prior to submitting any of the forms, I do recommend that you download the template for each of those submissions. Those templates are available in the Documents section on the same page. If you don't see it listed on the initial page, just select View All. Look for the Roster Files folder. Double-click, and you should see the active member roster template, the new member roster template, as well as the roster submission instructions. If you have any questions following this video, I would recommend you download and review these instructions, and then follow up with our office if there are any questions after that. The active member roster template includes 3 tabs. The first tab is an info sheet that really just provides some instructions for how the information should be submitted. The second tab you'll see is labeled as active members. On this tab, you're going to want to enter your chapter name, the semester, so in this case, it would be spring 2021, and then the last name, first name, and Blazer ID of each of your members. It's important that in the Blazer ID field, you just enter the Blazer ID, not the member's full email address. Additionally, it's important that you submit this in an Excel file, not in a PDF. That will allow us to make the changes to your roster seamlessly. The final tab is labeled Officers. This is where you can update our office of any officer changes that have taken place and who your current officers are for the semester. Since those positions vary by chapter, we ask that you include their last and first name, as well as their position. And so whatever positions are included within your executive board, we would ask that you include that information here. The new member roster template is formatted similar to the active member roster template. That first tab is going to include some minimal instructions for how to submit the information. And the second tab is labeled New Members. This is where you're going to list out both the first and last name of your new members as well as their Blazer ID. You'll want to make sure to include the semester as well as your chapter name here so that we can distinguish the new members and associate them with your organization. And as another reminder, just make sure to solely include their Blazer ID, not their full UAB email address in this final column. You'll save these documents and then submit it to the submission form on Engage. The active and new member submission process is pretty simple as far as the form goes. You're going to enter the name of whoever is submitting the information, include the chapter name, and here we'd love your organization name as well as your respective chapter. The organization name is really the most important. You're going to indicate the semester that you're submitting the roster. In this case, it'd be spring 2021. You're going to upload the file, and so this file should be that template that we've just looked at. Once you've entered in all the information and saved it, you're going to upload it here. And then there's a place for additional comments. You can use this to enter any unique information about your chapter roster that you think it might be helpful for us to know or have on hand. For the purpose of this training, we're going to upload and submit a test. If you don't have any additional comments to add, you can just write an A. Select Next. Now, that is all that is collected through the roster submission form. What you do have to do in order for it to be submitted and for our office to receive the information is you will need to select this blue Submit button. What this page does, though, is gives you an opportunity to make sure you've submitted all the appropriate information and to go back if you need. And then you'll just select Submit. Your form is not complete unless you select the blue Submit button, so please don't forget to do that. If you have any questions about the roster submission process or any of the forms that have been reviewed in this training, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office and let us know. We're always happy to help.